Hey gang! I watched the Obsession movie, and that was very interesting because what was the most interesting thing about it was I resonated with the main character a lot, and I think this is something that should be talked about. So, what I learned from this movie, and the message I had prior to watching it was obedience does not equal loyalty. Those are two different things. And I lived this life for a long time until recently, honestly. And I always thought that to be loyal to a family member, to a partner, to a friend is to be obedient, not to disagree, not to maybe speak your mind, but not fully understand what it means to be unapologetically you, to not be afraid to be you and speak your truth, even if you think the person that you're talking to will dislike you because of it. It's getting over that fear that was the hardest thing. And the other thing I learned is fear is the mind killer. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Fear is only for entertainment. So what is the point in giving energy into it? I say I get easily scared, but it's just because I put in the energy into whatever I'm watching to put meaning into it. So it's almost like I make it real because I analyze it and I decide to learn lessons from horror movies and scary situations. So, and I don't want to change this about myself, but I just think being aware of it, being aware that fear is the mind killer, is what allows me to be able to find lessons within these movies and 3D world entertainment cinematic masterpieces. Anyways, from this movie, I want to talk about the symbolism with cats. I find that the main character in this movie was a lot like a cat. They craved attention in a way that a lot of people don't necessarily like at first. And I guess what I see is that, like, when my cat freaks out, he poops on stuff that he's not supposed to poop on. He scratches things. He's freaking out. Maybe even lashing out in a way, attacking other cats and things like that. And it's because he's apart from me or doesn't think that I love him and things like that. And what that shows me is I should show him authentic love. I should be there for him and try to give him a better environment to live in. Now, why is this important? Important is because I think everyone has the qualities of a cat sometimes. I like to distinguish people as cat or dog people, like literal cat or dog people. Like dog people are very direct, very visually personable and loyal and obedient. I tied these together and I always thought I was a dog person, so that's why I embodied this ideology. And then cat people, you earn their trust to get into their inner circle. And what I've encountered is both people who are like dogs and cats, I've had to dig to see how they truly feel in order to try to people please them. And in the past and recently, I am trying to get over this and learning how to just be me authentically and treat people without being afraid of trying to dig and make them feel more comfortable, because it should be me first that I should make comfortable. If I feel uncomfortable about something, I want to tell whoever I'm with, whoever I'm around, that directly I am uncomfortable, even if I am afraid of their reaction afterwards. And another thing I noticed within myself is the main character from this movie is a lot like me in my past relationship. No, I didn't kill people. No, I didn't control him from not hanging out with other people, but I definitely idolized the fact that he couldn't live without me. I loved that. I loved that he needed me. Even though I knew it was draining me, I found fulfillment from that. And I liked when he told me he couldn't live without me. I liked when he would be a little bit protective when I would go out into places until it was too much one day, and then it started to become a problem. What's wrong with this is I didn't voice that it was a problem. I just let it draw out until eventually it all fell apart in my hands. And that is purely a lesson. There is no resentment or regret from this situation, because now I'm realizing the reason why they made this movie is because so many people relate to this character who is obsessed with their partner. Why is this normalized? And a lot of people are watching this movie maybe afraid. One, it's a horror movie. Yes, cool. You can be afraid in a horror movie. But two, because they see themselves within this chaotic, obsessive, codependent person. And they don't want to admit, maybe I am this person. Maybe this is me. Could I be overanalyzing this movie? Yes, but at the same time, if I don't ask these questions, who will? What if this was the true intent behind the movie? To ask questions and to reflect on how we can be better. And basically what I learned from this movie is I want to surround myself with people who are also not afraid to be themselves unapologetically. If I'm around people where I have to dig in order to make them say they're unhappy, they're happy, or they're uncomfortable or comfortable, that feels draining. And I maybe still am that person, and I don't want to be that person anymore. And I think a lot of people don't accept this about themselves. Maybe they think it's not that big of a deal. Maybe they think it's not that deep. But what if it is that deep? Just don't be afraid of the truth that's going to come out from it, because I get scared easily. I couldn't sleep last night because of this movie. I maybe slept like 5 hours. I even had a dream about this movie. And it wasn't the character that I was dreaming about. I was dreaming about myself being her in a way that made more sense in my life. It wasn't as paranormal activity, I guess you could say, but it was the same concept that I needed to be with my partner 100% of the time, or else I was uncomfortable. I was freaking out. I was insecure. Now I realize I should not put this person, anyone, on this high of a pedestal other than me. I shouldn't need anyone other than myself. The only thing I really should strive for is to love and accept me. Love and accept the version of me that I am learning to uncover and unveil through all of these lessons in my life. Because I didn't want to watch this movie, maybe because I think I'm so niche. And I was like, if everyone's watching this movie, I'm not going to watch it. And everyone's like, it's the scariest thing ever. Watching this movie, I was like, it's not that scary. It was scary, all right? Because I saw myself within her. It wasn't how it was filmed that made me scared. It was seeing how, shoot, this is freaking me. And I didn't even notice it, because in my past relationship where I was this main character, if anybody, even my parents, even my friends, if anyone said, Kayla, I love you more than anything, but this relationship you have with your boyfriend is not good. You guys are codependent on each other, and this is not healthy, I wouldn't have listened. And that's crazy to me, because now seeing a movie about someone who was very similar to me, I'm like, that is insane. Because if any of my friends were like that, I would tell them. So it's just interesting, because now that I'm so open, and now that I went through this past relationship and fully acknowledged how I wanted to change and grow from that person I was to the person I want to become, who is the true version of me, I'm able to see these differences. And this has only been within a year. It's just so crazy how people live for someone else. Maybe they live for another version of them that doesn't feel like truly them. I want to start living for the true version of me. And I can only do that by protecting my space, by acknowledging the inner me that is hurt, by being honest when people around me are making me feel drained and uncomfortable, me telling them I'm uncomfortable and I need space from you. I think that is one of the biggest servitudes you can do to humanity is being you authentically, because authenticity is the currency. It is how people should attract value.